Did you know some of the foods we eat today are thousands of years old? From Egyptian bread to Roman fish sauce, these ancient foods have survived for centuries, passed down through generations. But why have they lasted so long? What makes them so special? Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating history of 10 ancient foods that are still a part of our modern diets. Some of these have been enjoyed for over 10,000 years, and you probably eat them without even realizing their incredible past. So sit back, relax, and get ready to be amazed. Bread is the foundation of civilization. The first evidence of bread dates back over 14,000 years to the Natufian culture in what is now Jordan. And guess what? This was before humans even started farming. They made bread from wild grains, grinding them into flour and mixing it with water to create a simple flatbread. Fast forward to ancient Egypt, where bread making became an art. Egyptians were the first to discover the power of yeast, making bread rise into soft, fluffy loaves. Bread was so important that it became a form of currency. Workers who built the pyramids were paid in bread and beer. The richer you were, the whiter your bread, because refined flour was expensive. Today, bread remains one of the most widely consumed foods in the world. From sourdough in San Francisco to baguettes in France and naan in India. But no matter how modern bread becomes, it all traces back to those ancient loaves made thousands of years ago. Imagine opening a jar of honey that's over 3,000 years old and still being able to eat it. That's exactly what archaeologists discovered in the tomb of Pharaoh Tutankhamun. Honey is the only food that never spoils due to its natural antibacterial properties. The Egyptians considered honey a sacred food used not only for eating, but also for medicine and religious offerings. They even embalmed bodies with honey to preserve them. The Greeks and Romans also valued honey. Hippocrates, the father of medicine, prescribed honey for everything from sore throats to wounds. In ancient Greece, Olympic athletes ate honey to boost their energy before competitions. And the Romans used it in lavish feasts, drizzling it over fruits, meats, and even mixing it into their wine. Today, honey is still widely used for its health benefits, from soothing coughs to healing burns. It's incredible to think that when we eat honey, we're enjoying the same golden nectar that ancient civilizations cherished thousands of years ago. Wine is older than recorded history. The first evidence of winemaking was found in Georgia, where people fermented grapes in clay pots over 8,000 years ago. But it was the ancient Greeks and Romans who truly turned wine into a symbol of culture, celebration, and power. The Greeks believed wine was a gift from the gods, and they even had a god of wine, Dionysos. They hosted wild festivals in his honor, where drinking wine was not just encouraged, it was practically a religious duty. Romans took winemaking to the next level, perfecting fermentation techniques that are still used today. Wine was so common that even children drank it. But don't worry, they usually mixed it with water. Wealthy Romans had wine cellars filled with different varieties, and some bottles were so valuable that they cost more than an entire farm. Today, wine remains a global industry worth billions, enjoyed in almost every country. Whether it's French Bordeaux, Italian Chianti, or Argentinian Malbec, every sip connects us to a tradition that dates back thousands of years. To the ancient Greeks, olive oil wasn't just food, it was liquid gold. It was used for cooking, medicine, religious ceremonies, and even skincare. The first olive oil production dates back over 6,000 years, with evidence found in Israel and the Middle East. The Greeks believed olive trees were sacred, and they even used olive oil to anoint their athletes before competitions. Imagine running a race covered in olive oil. Romans took olive oil production to new heights, building massive presses that could extract oil from thousands of olives at once. They used it not only for food but also as lamp oil, in perfumes, and even to keep their skin soft and moisturized. Today, olive oil is a staple in the Mediterranean diet, which is one of the healthiest diets in the world. Whether it's drizzled on a salad or used for frying, every drop carries a legacy that's been passed down for thousands of years. Did you know that cheese was discovered by accident? Over 7,000 years ago, early humans carried milk in animal stomachs while traveling. Inside those stomachs were natural enzymes like rennet, which caused the milk to curdle, creating the first cheese. What started as a mistake became one of the most beloved foods in history. The Romans perfected cheesemaking, creating hundreds of varieties, from soft ricotta to aged parmesan. Roman soldiers carried cheese as part of their rations, and wealthy families had cheese cellars. The philosopher Pliny the Elder even wrote about the best cheese markets in the Roman Empire, proving that people have been cheese connoisseurs for thousands of years. Today, cheese remains one of the most diverse foods, from French brie to Mexican queso fresco and Japanese sakura cheese. But no matter where it's made, every slice has a history that dates back to the very first herders in Mesopotamia. Rice is not just a food. It's a way of life for billions of people. The first evidence of cultivated rice comes from China, over 10,000 years ago, where early farmers carefully selected the best grains to plant. Over time, rice spread to India, Egypt, and eventually the rest of the world. In ancient Japan, rice was so valuable that it was used as currency. Samurai warriors were even paid in rice instead of money. Meanwhile, in ancient China, rice was considered the gift of the gods, and farmers held elaborate ceremonies to honor the rice spirit. Even the Egyptians embraced rice, despite their desert environment. Archaeologists found grains of rice inside the stomach of mummies, proving that it was part of their diet. Today, rice remains a staple food, from sushi in Japan to paella in Spain and biryani in India. Every time we eat rice, we are continuing a 10,000-year-old tradition. Lentils and beans have fed civilizations for thousands of years, providing essential protein before people even knew what protein was. The earliest evidence of lentil cultivation comes from Mesopotamia, around 9,000 years ago. In ancient Egypt, lentils were considered a food for the poor, but they were also placed in tombs as offerings for the dead. Even the Bible mentions lentils. Esau sold his birthright to his brother Jacob for a simple bowl of lentil stew. Talk about an expensive meal. The Romans loved lentils too. They believed lentils made people calm and wise, so they were a common food for philosophers and soldiers alike. Today, lentils and beans are still superfoods, packed with protein and fiber. Whether in Indian dal, Mexican refried beans, or Mediterranean hummus, these humble legumes have been nourishing humanity for nearly 10,000 years. Imagine a sauce so valuable that it was worth more than gold. Exactly what garum was. In ancient Rome, a fermented fish sauce that was the ketchup of the Roman Empire. Garum was made by layering fish, salt, and herbs in bright clay vats and leaving them to ferment under the hot sun for months. The result? A powerful umami-rich sauce that Romans poured over everything: meat, vegetables, even fruit. Wealthy Romans paid fortunes for the finest garum, which was aged like expensive wine. Some bottles were worth more than an entire farm. The smell. Let's just say that garum factories were banned from being built inside city walls because the odor was so strong. If this sounds familiar, that's because garum is the ancestor of modern fish sauce, used in Thai, Vietnamese, and Filipino cuisine today. So if you've ever eaten pad thai or pho, you've tasted the ancient Roman obsession that lasted for centuries. Tamales are one of the oldest portable foods in history. The Mayans and Aztecs made tamales over 5,000 years ago. as an easy-to-carry meal for warriors, hunters, and travelers. They were wrapped in corn husks or banana leaves, making them the original fast food. Tamales weren't just food. They had a spiritual meaning too. The Aztecs believed humans were created from corn dough, so eating tamales was like connecting with the gods. They were often used as offerings in religious ceremonies and even placed in the graves of the dead. Spanish conquistadors wrote about the incredible variety of tamales, filled with everything from beans and turkey to fruits and chili peppers. Today, tamales remain a cultural icon in Mexico, Central America, and even parts of the U.S. Whether enjoyed at Christmas, Dia de los Muertos, or family gatherings, every tamale carries a piece of ancient history in every bite. Before cereal, before pancakes, before toast, there was porridge. This simple dish, boiled grains mixed with water or milk, has been eaten for over 6,000 years. Ancient Egyptians ate a barley-based porridge that kept them full during long workdays, while the Romans had pulse, a thick porridge made from wheat or chickpeas. Roman gladiators were even called barley men because they relied on porridge for strength and endurance before battles. Meanwhile, in ancient China, rice porridge known as congee was used as a healing food for people who were sick. It was believed to restore balance to the body and was even eaten by emperors for longevity. Even today, porridge is a global breakfast staple, from oatmeal in the U.S. to grits in the South and kasha in Russia. It may not be fancy, but it has survived for millennia as one of the most reliable and nourishing foods. And there you have it, 10 ancient foods that have been passed down through generations, surviving wars, empires, and revolutions. It's incredible to think that the foods we eat today were once enjoyed by pharaohs, gladiators, samurais, and emperors. Which of these foods do you eat the most? Have you ever tried making any of them the ancient way? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this deep dive into history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video. See you next time.